Those legals now. I got plates. It's all mine. Shut the crappy battery in there. It starts a lot better with a different battery. But I'm gonna drive it out here. I got some other work to do, so I figure this would actually be the first time it's kind of driven under its own power. Ugh. And we'll see if it's got reverse. Oof. I don't think I have enough clutch pedal. Nope. I gotta shut it off with the key. Well, I gotta say is glad the motor's easy to take in and out. I had to free up the clutch. The clutch disc was stuck to the pressure plate in the flywheel. And I tried everything before I even took it out. I started up in gear, rev it up, hit the brakes, fourth gear, and nothing was having it. So I just took it apart, and it was just really, really rusted. I was surprised because I cleaned all this really well when I put it together. Problem was, I think it was so clean it didn't have any like little mist of oil or anything on it, and it just rusted up solid. So a little little black plastic bag I had on it kind of worked like a greenhouse and made things worse instead of better. But anyway, it's all back together. Gas line's still hooked up, and we're gonna go wheel that motor right back in there. I gotta get a jack out of the trans, and we'll bolt that back up, and I'll do a take two. Alright, round two. Let's go see if performs a little better this time. Is that reverse? Yeah, we got reverse. See the lift. I got 3 wheels for brakes. Well, that don't do much. Now you just gotta go out and kill the wire. There we go. Might hook a button up to it at some point, but good enough. And it's a yard driver. That was the goal I was trying to get to. So I'm there, and now it's just a shitload of metalwork. And continuing with metalwork on the double cab, I think the next area I want to kind of go with is the floor area in the rear section of the cab, which looks like kind of like where they stopped working, and looks like they did the edges, whatever they kind of put in there, and the same holds true for over by the door here. You can see somebody welded in some flat plate underneath everything. And it goes out way back there. And the gas tank sits up there. On the single cab, I ended up getting a section of floor for a bus, and I installed those. What came with this one was just these sites, VW sites sell this pre-corrugated flooring, but they're not stamped out floor pans. They are patch panels, or I don't know what you want to call them. They're just corrugated metal with the correct what's I talking about? Look at them. The correct kind of waviness to them. So we're going to work with those. The problem with those is they are probably about 8-10 inches short from making it all the way to the rear. They're not a full length to go from front to back, and I don't know if you even kind of want to go in front to back anyway, because where you attach to the rear panel and the front panel, I think they're meant to be, I should go look at another VW, but they're meant to be they taper back down to a flat section, kind of like what this is, so they go from wavy to flat in the stamping. Not that I really care about how that looks, it's just more how I want to go about attaching it. So Probably what I'm going to go start with doing is just taking a flapper disc, and we're going to go over all the edges here that are now kind of rusty and crusty that I need to weld to. So I'll start cleaning that stuff up. And then we'll slide a couple of panels in there, and we'll kind of go from there. So it's going to be a nice dirty job. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll see if we can try to get a floor in this thing. And then after the floor is in, you can see all those need to be extended back down to the floor. All those wall supports. There's one there. You know, what's supposed to be one there. There. I think this side is done. You can see how they already patched them in. Yeah, that one's done. That one's done. So I think I'll just kind of continue with that same motion, and let's get some metal back in this thing. And the bottom side, somebody was talking about what are you going to do for paint and all. I think on the inside I'm just going to use some white Rust-Oleum oil-based paint, and it's kind of good for that rusty, crusty kind of stuff. And I probably get a gallon of white, and I'll throw a little bit of brown in it just to kind of make it this the color that's in here, or close to the color that's in here. I'm not that particular, but I think when we get to the outside skin, yeah, I'll probably paint that just single stage regular. Single stage with, you know, regular automotive stuff. And but for the inside, I'm just going to paint it with whatever I got. 90% of this gets covered anyway. You don't see any of it by the time you put the mats in and the door panels on and all that kind of stuff. So that's the plan. All right, less talking, more work. Let me get the grinder out and start cleaning this crap up. All right, a little change of plans. I started laying some metal in over there, and went to go do some grinding, looking at the fit. That's the difference I was talking about in the back corner there. You see that? Yeah, so it's, I don't know, 4 inches shy of making it all the way to the back. Anyway, so I started looking at that. I was like, well, maybe I'll install one piece at a time. But then I started looking at the front here, and this is like a, you see that top? There's a vent right there. That top, yeah, quarter inch or so. Talking about. These are vents, these are heat. This is heat coming to the rear, but this is all just missing metal underneath here. So I think I'm going to start with making a patch panel for that, considering the floor is going to be laying in front of it. And you can see somebody's already done a bunch of boogered up work here. So I figure I'll continue that all the way down. I have a feeling it's not going to look that great because just that you're trying to come up to very irregular looking you know, surface, trying to go underneath it and match that pattern and make it fit in there and all. But that's what they make seam sealer for. And again, we're not doing a concourse restoration. We're just trying to get it up and running again. So I'm gonna go punch out a piece of metal 24 by 1 3/4, and we'll lay that up in there, and we'll see if we can take a Sharpie and start marking out where some of that stuff goes and grind that area, and we'll get a panel in there. Alright, let's climb in here, see what we got. Alright. So, that's the hole as she was. Kind of cleaned up the grinder. And that's our patch panel. It's going to go over that. Easier said than done to hold it there. But something like that. Now it'll still keep the vents open. And I figure I'll probably come back with like a seam sealer, and we'll try to like fill in those little gaps that are going to be left around there. However, you don't know what else really to kind of go do without going crazy. I'm not quite sure what that looks like from the factory. There might even be something that sticks out from the floor from there that I'm not even realizing, but this is what I'm going to move forward with, and then from there we can start laying down the floor pans themselves and start welding them in. So I'm going to get the welder over here. We'll start tacking this sucker up and get that kind of sealed up and continue on. Alright, well, I'm going to go buzz that panel in. I'm going to kind of go and show you how I like to go about doing it. And, where's my hammer? And then I'll show you what the welder's set on. not much room in here. Let's see if we can get in there. I kind of like to stitch it like that. I don't like to just nail it and go across. I find that you burn in too easy. And that's kind of what we're going for. That's 18 gauge, I believe, is the steel. And I believe what the factory stuff is also 18. Just to show what my welder's set at. The 220 volt, 175 Lincoln on the bottle. And heat range is B, it's fairly low, and my wire speed feed is at 3, and I'm running about 16 pounds of argon CO mix. It makes for a good combo for me. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of that, and I'm going to come back and again probably stitch right across that whole top. And the bottom's got a bit of a gap. I may take a welding wire and lay it in there and fill it, or I may just try filling it. I'll try on one end, on the end there, and I'll try to see if I could fill and bridge it. If it keeps burning away, then I'm gonna again lay in a piece of wire, and we'll kind of go from there. But that's the plan right there. So I'll turn you back on when I get that knocked out. Yeah, I went and grabbed a little bite to eat and came back, and that guy's in there. Ain't the prettiest of pretty, but it's all solid metal again, and it's better than what somebody else was doing. But again, old rusty cars. So I was thinking about how I'm going to continue on with the floor, and you can see that one piece is sitting in there. It's a little dark, but that back corner. So that sheet would probably, if you notched it half inch or so, would probably drop right in there. But what I'm thinking of doing, because all the sheets are going to be, you know, that shy, whatever that distance is, 6 inches, 4 inches. I think I'm going to make a piece to go between those two wheel wells from the lip of that corner across to the lip on this corner. That looks like it's probably about 30 inches across, 36 inches across, and then up to that first rail. So I want to box in that section right back in there, and then we'll probably trim those sheets back a little bit just to reach right up to there. Plus nothing will be seen back there. Of course, that's all hidden. You know, it's all under the seat and under the gas tank. But I have a bunch of 18 gauge we can use to go fill that in. And that's actually probably what it was made out of. And those patch panels, I'm going to say they're 20 gauge. I haven't measured them yet, but the 18's a little thicker. So the patch is either going to have to go there, or I'm going to have to, you know, scissor on extensions to that material, which I probably have enough extra to do, but I don't want the seam up here. I think we're going to leave the wavy pattern going right across the front there. So that's what I'm going to get on next. I'm going to get myself a tape measure, and actually probably going to get in with a grinder first, which is going to kind of suck. I don't know if you guys can see what area we're trying to work in. That's probably 18 inches tall, that little hole in there, and probably back in about 3 feet. But anyway, get back in there with a grinder. We'll start cleaning some of that that surface area up, and then I'll make myself a pattern, and we'll cut ourselves out a piece of metal. We'll do the same back there. Alright, after a little lunch break, I came back and started making that rear panel. I think I already said that. Anyway, dog ramp. I went and got that for something to go lay on. It makes life a lot easier. I was going to try my creeper, but I figure we get kind of caught up on everything underneath the wheels. And this has, you know, pretty much a flat surface on it, on aluminum rails, and I can change the length of it. So I figure I'll work off of that. So I got a piece cut out for the back. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but there's a pattern cut on it. No, lined up on it anyway. I did a bunch of transfer lines for where I can tuck that back corner. The sheet was just, this is how long the sheet was. It was that much shy, so I figure I'll use it for its capacity of what it is, and I'll make a little patch for that one corner, what's left over, or I'll just use the flooring all the way to the end. Anyway, so this is what I have, and transferred some lines, and you can kind of see drew a couple of tongues on there, roughly where it is. I think we're going to cut to the insides of those lines and leave a bunch of material in there, and what I'll do is I'll slice that end so I can slide it in. And if I can get in there and wheel on a hammer a little bit, I may want to just kind of contour to those two back pieces, and then I'll whatever I could trim it after that. But I think that's my best bet for trying to make that, instead of trying to go to cardboard and then try to do it. It's just not much room in there, so I'm using the metal itself. I'm doing it once. All right, so I'm going to pull that out of there. Actually, I'll probably take it out of there now and show you. All right. So that's what it is. I just took a square off of each corner where it started and where it ended, and put a mark on there. Figured it was 2 inches wide, and my square just happened to be 2 inches wide, so I just lined up that line and that line to where it ended for height, and drew 2 lines and just drew on the top as a curve. That may bite me in the ass, it may be fine, we'll see. And on the end down there, we're going to take out that inner corner, and then I'm going to try bending up that wall right there, what's left of it, make a standing seam, and I might be able to attach it to that wall over there instead of trying to catch the edge of it. So let me get that cutting, and stick it back in and see what it looks like. Alright, after a bunch of noise with a crappy jigsaw, got those kind of cut out and whacked them flat again. And the bend on the end, I just stuck it in the vise and bent it towards me and whacked it with a mallet. I think right now what I'm going to do is just kind of clean off all the writing so that when I put it back under there, I can mark it up fresh for touch-ups, you know what I mean? And let's just brake clean. Brake clean and magic marker. It's great for clean up. Carb clean, sorry. Brake clean does work too. One of them. I think it's the non-chlorinated one. We'll take the marker off too. Anyway, so I'm gonna go see if we can feed that under there. Let's go climb in. Should I this up? Hold on one sec. Put the light on you. There you go. Let's see what we got. Like how that guy was cut way off. That one looks good. That looks good. That one looks funky. Oh well. Actually, it's not back all the way on that side. I gotta notch the end of that guy right there so that it can go in. Actually, I might be able to tap it right underneath that, but it looks of it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Anyway, so you get the idea. I'm not gonna be able to hold the camera and beat on that piece, but I'm gonna start fine tuning that thing, and then I'm gonna probably run around the perimeter where it's gonna go with magic marker, and then I'll know all those areas are the areas that need to get cleaned up. I should have made a lip there too. I screwed up. Right there, I should have bent a lip, left more material and bent a lip upward. Oh well. Lessons learned. And after further inspection, I just tapped that end in over there, and I'm looking at where the humps are. I screwed it up, but I'm gonna try to fix it. I cut those too long. I made my, so there's gonna, when that goes down flat, there's gonna be a hole in the front of that one and a hole in front of that one, probably about a ½ inch or so. So what I think I'm going to go try and do to rectify the situation is the back lip there, the against the back firewall. I think I'm going to try folding that a 1/2 inch all the way the whole length. That will suck that whole piece in that much further, and probably make a better product afterwards anyway. The only thing is I have no kind of bender to go sit that in, so I'm just going to have to kind of beat on it on the end of a bench kind of thing, you know what I mean, and fold it around. But that'd be fine for back in there. Again, we're just hiding the gas tank. Right, let me take that back out of there, and actually, you know, it's also, I could also make that other one now too. That one, that's missing. So, all right, let me get the gun. All right, so I cut out my little notches I needed to, and I bent down this lip already in the vise. And I'm just gonna go with flat pliers, and it's clamped down with a 4x4 on top, and just try to get a type of a crease of sorts, but I don't really need that sharp of a bend. Actually, the softer the bend, the easier it'll probably be to match the back wall. But we're gonna go try and get started anyway. Then I figure I can come back with my mallet and just kind of go give her This is at 18 gauge too, by the way. Hammer time. Something like that. You gotta do something with. I think I have to cut that little tit off. Fold it over. I'll go with folding it over. I should do it. So, turn you back on. Let me get back under there. Corners get me. So I'll cut that out of there. And after playing a little whack-a-mole, that's kind of what I'm going with. It's bowed in the center, but you just push down on it. It goes down. So what I think I'm going to do now is take a Sharpie, and I'm going to go trace all where it touches on all the walls. Is that fuzzy? And go over that with a marker, and then come back with the flapper disc and clean off all the stuff. Plus I have to clean up the lip that's underneath all that stuff. It's actually holding it from going down a little bit. Whatever the plasma cut off is all like rough and crusty. So I get to go crawl under there and make noise and mess for quite a while, and then I'll turn this back on and see if we can get this thing in there. And moving forward. So I got it pretty much all cleaned up and put into place and ground where I want to weld it and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to work my way, I think, from left to right. I'll start tacking it in place, and then as I can kind of tack it and move the clamps down, I can go and once you get it tacked to where it's touching, you know what I mean? Like, so if you're clamped in one spot, then you can take the hammer 2 inches over and tap it down and catch a weld there, and so on and so forth. So that's the battle I'm going to do. I'm going to go right in that section, probably try to get maybe even halfway, and I'll throw a tack in that front edge in the beginning. So I'll put a couple of tacks across the front right here just to hold it from, I don't want it to roll on me while I'm going from one side to the other. But yeah, that's it. And you're not gonna be able to watch that because there's no way you, me, a welder is all gonna fit in that same place down in there. So I'll show you the after. And there you go. I wouldn't exactly say the most comfortable of places to go weld. If it was out more in the open, I wasn't crawled under there so bad. I'd probably weld a bead right across the back of that, but there's a bunch of caterpillars on it now. And then the front's probably weld an inch, skip an inch, average. Some areas are more, some a little less. But I'm gonna go hit that with a flapper disc and clean that up a little bit. And then I think I'm gonna go try and get one section of flooring tonight going across that back. That may or may not happen. But I figure I'll shut you down here. There's probably enough on one clip. So it ain't pretty, but again, no one's gonna see it. The gas tank's gonna go on top of it. No holes in it. It's all metal. And then we got this one in the front's done too. Well, a lot of time. Alright guys, again, thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, and see you in the next one.